What's up? This is Chosen, and this video is going to be covering the 10x summoning event that's going to be going on this weekend. And then I like to use videos like this as an opportunity to go over everything that's going on in game, grade some of the offers, and get you all caught up on what you need to know going into this weekend for raids. So let's get into it. Alrighty, so first things first, I'm sure you're most curious about the 10x event, when it's starting, which champions are in it, and my thoughts on it, so we'll do that first. Now, if you're curious when it kicks off, typically, not always, but typically, there's an event that acts as a pseudo countdown for when it's going to start. Don't take my word for it. You're going to want to make sure and check the portal if you are going to be doing the summoning event. But here, under events, under summon rush, you can see here the starts in 15 hours and 13 minutes. As of me recording this video, that's probably when it's going to actually launch and go live in game. But you do want to go to the portal and click on the little eye, and then down here in this big, huge, empty area is where they will typically show the 10x champions that are currently being boosted with their rates. So you're going to want to make sure and double check that. But that's kind of a loose interpretation of when you can expect it to start. And as far as the champions that are in the 10x event, it's going to be starting soon. I will go over the list of them, and then I will give you my quick rundown of the thoughts on each one. So first, we've got Enithwe Blood Twin, Blind Seer, Tila Gormain, Tyrant Ixlamore, Black Knight, Doom Priest, Mausoleum Mage, Crimson Helm, Yotun, and Xel'Atath. So now let's go ahead, pull them up, and we'll go from epic to legendary. So we'll start down here with Xel'Atath, who is in the Undead, and the epic that you see right here. So Xel'Atath's a decent early to mid-game support. He does have a sleep on the A1, and most notably known for the shield here and the continuous heal. This A2, this Armored Scales, is definitely his calling card. It's a pretty good mid-game support ability to provide shields and also continuous heal, so sustain for your team. And there is a boss in the Doom Tower that you really need to place shields. So not bad, a pretty solid epic, maybe a slightly above average epic in the game. And just to show the whole kit, we've also got the A3 here that is an AoE with a 5-turn cooldown when booked, that has a little bit of CC of placing sleep on your opponents. Yotun in the Barbarians is, they did recently change him to be scaling with HP, which was definitely a necessary change for him. That made him a lot better. He can hit decently hard. He can crank out some damage, especially in like a single target scenario. Not a bad option for faction wars where you can do a little bit of damage and have a sturdy champion that can also place the decreased defense and HP burn and stuff on those boss fights, and a decent early game clan boss option, but nothing amazing. A pretty average epic overall. Crimson Helm, an epic from the Dark Elves, is a champion that seems really good on paper. It's just when you start actually using her in battle, sometimes you're a little bit underwhelmed, or she underperforms your expectations. But the kit on paper is pretty decent. We've got a decreased attack on the A1, and she scales with attack and defense with a really, really good base defense for an epic. And then the A2 is really solid. We can get this booked to a 3-turn cooldown, and it's basically AoE provoke. Now, when you got this fully booked, it's going to be plus 20%. It's going to take this from 75 to 95. So Sniper is a really, really good mastery for her. It's going to bump up that 95 up to that crucial 100%. So worth noting for her when you're doing the masteries, that Sniper is extremely good for her. And then the A3 here, Revive on Death is hard to get consistent value out of. It's a lot worse than just Revive. When you know if somebody's dead, you can revive them. Revive on Death is a lot tougher to have that effect proc consistently. But we do have a 4-turn cooldown of increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. The really rough part about Crimson Helm is the base speed of 85. It's it may be the lowest epic in the game. If it's not, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. If it's not the lowest, it's one of the lowest. That's an extremely low base speed for Crimson Helm. But all in all, on paper, a pretty decent epic. Mausoleum Mage also in this event, and a pretty solid epic, probably the best one I've gone over so far. We do have an A1 that can manipulate speed, which is always good. Anytime you've got an A1 that manipulates speed, turn meter or buffs or places CC. That's an A1 that brings a lot of value to your team. The A2 here of block buffs is very solid, and then also increasing the crit rate and the defense on all allies on a 3-turn cooldown. That's a very good ability. And he can also act as an immunity cleanser if you've got him in an immunity set or in a lot like a really high resistance, so you can keep him very sturdy. You can absorb what they do to you in the arena and then remove all debuffs and heal them. So he can also slide into some of those defensive arena teams that are designed to go second. So I think Mausoleum Mage is pretty well designed. He also, I've seen people use him in speed farming compositions with Seer because he does place a lot of buffs here on the A2, and then Seer can remove things and blow things up. So I've seen a lot of utility out of Mausoleum Mage in different areas of the game. And the last epic that is on this 10x event is Doom Priest, and this is my favorite epic out of all of the ones that I've gone over so far. Doom Priest is really aging well. The longer that raid is a game, the more and more we are learning the value of Doom Priest and finding more and more ways to use her effectively. She's a Faction Wars carry. She's amazing in helping you finish the Night Rev Faction Wars. She's going to be really good in lots of different areas of the Doom Tower, which is new content in the game. She is really good in certain clan boss compositions, endgame clan boss compositions. This passive here is just so good. Every turn, removing a random debuff, so you get AoE cleanse every turn, just inherent value, and then also healing, so she can perform really well in high HP teams. Like Miscreated Monster is also from the same faction. She can pair really well with someone like that. So Doom Priest, an amazing epic with pretty good base stats as well. Now as we move into the legendaries that are part of this 10x event, we've got 4 of them to go over. The first one I'm going to touch on is Black Knight. Black Knight, similar to Crimson Helm, seems pretty solid on paper, but then once you actually dive in and start using the champion, sometimes you're like, yeah, I expected this to be a little bit better. We do have CC on the A1, you know I love that. We've got an A2 that places heals and increased defense, and you can actually book this to a 2-turn cooldown. So this A2 is actually really good when it's booked. That's very consistent healing and keeping that increased defense buff up on your entire team. So I do love that. That's a cool role in the game. Very rare to see an ability like that. The A3, hard to get consistent value out of because you need to kind of get lower on HP. Can hit super hard in the right situation, but hard to make that happen consistently. And then the passive here, place an unkillable buff on this champion for 1 turn. It's a cool. This was buffed a little bit ago. Well, not a little bit ago, probably about a year ago at this point, just to help get a little bit more consistent value out of it. But yeah, Black Knight, solid in the right setup, but overall mostly a pretty average legendary. We've also got Tila Gormain in this 10x, and unfortunately, she's going to be the worst legendary in this of the 4. Almost unanimously, the player base has Tila as a bottom 10 legendary in the game. She's definitely on the most deserving of some love in terms of the buff department, and making legendaries a little bit more viable. So not a whole lot to say on her. I mean, I guess you could argue stealing buffs on the A1 and scaling with HP is not a bad A1. But then we've got just a lot of, like, we need a little bit more love on the cooldowns. Like if this was 3 turns and this being 4 turns, it's an AoE leech. I think that's fair. The base speed of 92 is a little bit too low. She does have good base HP. Maybe bump up the base defense to 1300, bump up the base speed to 97, and make this 3 turns, and she would at least have a role in the game and be decent. But in her current state, it's tough to really justify her as an account changer and a legendary that you're really going to want on your account. We also have 2 Void legendaries in this 10x, and Aneathway Blood Twin is going to be one of them. I mean, one of the cooler looking champions in the game. This is amazing. Really fits the theme of a demon spawn Void legendary with the purple flowing through. And Aneathway really puts off a Dark Souls vibe, or even like the Daedric armor from the Skyrim Oblivion universe, I guess Elder Scrolls universe. But yeah, definitely an amazing looking champion, and has a cool role in the game. It does perform super well in certain areas of the Doom Tower. The AoE Leech is pretty strong now because Leech has been buffed. having a passive with guaranteed value of enemies killed by this champion cannot be revived is super cool. And a decreased max HP. There's spots in the game in the Doom Tower where that's becoming a thing that you're going to want on your team. So Neathway, yeah, he's a pretty cool damage dealer and has a cool role in the game. I like him in general as a champion. The last champion we're going to go over for this 10X is Blind Seer. I like Blind Seer, a pretty solid champion with again, a good kit on paper, but this one usually does materialize to being pretty good, and it is really good in Faction Wars, Doom Tower, any sort of progression type content. The A1 that decreases turn meter, that's really good. I love any sort of speed or turn meter manipulation on an A1. And then the ability to place block debuffs for 2 turns and place a shield on all allies equal to 30% of max HP. That's a pretty solid A2 when you get this booked to a 3-turn cooldown. And then we've also got revive and place block damage. You can get that to a 5-turn cooldown. So yeah, the kit is pretty solid, and our base stats are amazing. 115 base speed is insane. So then you couple all of that with defense in all battles by 34%, and Blind Seer just has a solid kit that you can get a lot of utility out of in many different areas of the game. That covers all the champions in the 10X, and then just get you caught up on what is going on in game. You are going to see that the Ice Golem tournament just ended, and we're going to be having a Dragon tournament and a Classic Arena Takedown starting within the next day or so. Keep an eye on that. And then under events, we already touched on this a little bit, but there is an artifact enhancement event coming up, so you're going to want to save your silver today and wait so you can min-max, double dip, get some rewards on things that you upgrade. And then the summon rush is probably going to be coinciding with the 10X that we just covered. Keep an eye on Dungeon Divers here if you're interested in getting this stuff. I would at least try to get to the core hammers if you're trying to do it super budget. I like to go for void shards or core hammers and kind of go until that. It's going to be super tough to get to the end and get this legendary book, but if you're really grinding, you're going to want to keep an eye on that for the next 2 days and make sure that you are going after that. So let's go after the offers here and see if there's anything worth buying. Let's see how they are coming through in the shop. So here we go. We've got silver 2750, boom, right there, and gems 2750, and 7 and 7. We're gonna go 7-7. Yeah, 1.58. Not a whole lot to say there. Not a super great offer in my opinion. Monthly pack is pretty solid. We've covered it a couple times, but yeah, it's like a 2.4 or something. So a pretty solid offer there. The chained offer, these ones I like to go over so you can see here if they are worth it. The chained offers for energy are typically like a 1.7, so unfortunately not super amazing. Let's go 850 and energy refills of 5. Really? Is that? Wow, 1.2. That's one of the worst energy. Am I missing something? Yeah, it's one of the worst energy offers I've seen. So, okay. Yeah, definitely not. This should be 1,000 energy and 10 refills, and that would be more in line with something I could at least get on board with. But yeah, that chained offer is not very good in my opinion. Okay, more speed sets coming through in the shop. These are only for arena whales, high spenders, so 99% of you, it's not going to make sense budget wise in terms of spending wisely to scoop these up. But in terms of acquiring speed gear, this is technically the best offer you're ever going to get for that. It's 6-star epic at $25. The 6-star legendary stuff is like $70 or $60 or something. So this is probably your best shot at getting some of those triple speed roll gear pieces, but not a smart purchase for most of you out there in my opinion. The 3-day, now this is going to be the one that has the most potential, I think. Let's go ahead, plug, besides the monthly pack, but let's go ahead and plug this in. 55, okay, no, not 55 million. It's hard to get those zeros right for me. 1,000 gems and 4,000 energy. Okay, yeah, 1.85. So yeah, this is the best of everything coming through, but I don't see anything that I can definitely recommend. There is nothing in the teal. There's nothing 2.0, but if you are itching to buy something, this would be the 3-day energy silver gem pack would be the most consistent account progression and kind of the best value of them all. But Nothing here that I see worth buying in my personal opinion. But yeah, that's going to cover it for this video. Again, just to wrap up, the 10X event is going to be a Neathway Blood Twin, Blind Seer, Tila Gormain, Tyrant Ixthamor, Black Knight, Doom Priest, Mausoleum Mage, Crimson Helm, Yotun, and Zealota, and that should be starting at some point in the next 15 to 20 hours. Well, 10 to 16 hours, depending on when you're watching this. I have no idea, but you're going to want to check the portal and make sure that it is live down here before you do any summoning, because I don't know when you are watching my video. But yeah, I'm going to head on over to stream. So if you're watching this video right away, I am probably live right now. If you're watching it a little bit down the road, I'm probably offline after going for 2 or 3 hours or so. So that's going to do it for this one. As always, thank you for watching. Have a good rest of your day. Peace.